Once upon a time in Burkina Faso, a West African land plastic bags snagged on branches and steaming trash heaps under a blazing sun were symbols of despair and disease. But what if I told you those piles of garbage are now becoming treasure-creating jobs, saving the planet and inspiring the world? This story will make you go, wow! In the next 25 minutes, you'll uncover three incredible things. 1. How trash turned into a chance to rebuild a nation. 2. Practical lessons to green any community, even in America. 3. A dream changing how the world sees waste. This story will make you want to act now. Ever seen trash turn into something amazing? Share it in the comments. I'm dying to know. But first, let's step into the place where garbage was once a nightmare. Once upon a time in Burkina Faso, a West African land, piles of garbage clogged the streets, plastic bags snagged on branches, and toxic smoke from burning trash rose under a scorching sun. Trash wasn't just a problem. It was a nightmare fueling disease, pollution, and despair. With 300,000 tons of waste piling up each year in Ouagadougou alone, this nation was once seen as a giant landfill where hopelessness reigned. Ever wondered how a place drowning in trash could rise again? Stick around, this story will blow you away. Picture living in Ouagadougou, where heaps of garbage blocked drains, causing floods and diseases like malaria and cholera. Government reports say only 50% of urban residents had trash collection, leaving slums buried in waste. A mom in Ouagadougou lost her son to cholera from water poisoned by garbage. The air was thick with toxic smoke from open burning, sickening kids and elders with respiratory issues. The Tampui landfill, an open wound, polluted soil and groundwater ruining farmers' livelihoods. It's like Skid Row in America, where trash kills trust in the system. Many countries like Mali ignored waste, letting pollution spike 20% for lack of management. But Awa and thousands like her didn't give up. They craved a clean, dignified life. Here's the lesson. Trash isn't just a problem, it's a chance to change everything if you dare to see it differently. So what happens when a nation decides to see trash as treasure? Ever seen a place buried in garbage bounce back? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. But right now, let's dive into how Burkina Faso turned trash into opportunity. Coming right up. Then one day in Burkina Faso, amid reeking trash piles and choking smoke, a spark lit up in the minds of its people, not from gold or oil, but from the very things tossed away. They realized trash wasn't waste. It was treasure. A resource to create jobs, green the nation, and rewrite a nation's story. This shift in thinking, called System D or self-reliance, ignited a revolution from the stuff nobody wanted. Picture this: from discarded plastic bags, a nation found hope. Can you imagine that happening? In Ouagadougou, where trash once stood for despair, people sprang into action. Kofi, a blacksmith in Bam, saw piles of scrap metal and started collecting door to door, turning them into farming tools. UN reports say 60% of urban waste is organic, ripe for turning into nutrient-rich compost. Farmers learned to compost, artisans wove plastic bags into mats, all driven by environmental pressure and unemployment, with 70% of youth under 30 jobless. It's like community recycling in America. Like Oakland's urban art from trash, but here an entire nation joined in. Many countries like Chad flopped by leaning on foreign aid, losing 50% of recycling budgets to weak local plans. Burkina Faso did it differently, finding value in what was thrown away. Here's the lesson. When you see treasure in what others discard, you spark a revolution. So what happens when women start leading this revolution? Ever seen someone turn something worthless into opportunity? Tag a friend in the comments who'd love this story. But right now, let's dive into how Burkina Faso's women turned trash into power coming right up. Because of that, in Burkina Faso, when people started seeing treasure in trash, women once pushed to the margins of society stepped up to lead a revolution. Through co-ops like Recycle, they turned scattered plastic bags into stylish handbags, floor mats, and shoes, not just creating jobs, but shattering stereotypes, sparking economic empowerment, and bringing pride to their communities. From piles of despised garbage, women wove dreams. Isn't that incredible? In Ouagadougou, the Recycle co-op, starting with just 10 women, grew into a social enterprise employing 150 many single moms or widows once deemed unemployable. They collect plastic bags, clean them, and weave them into products exported to Europe. Local reports say Recycle gave 150 women steady incomes. Picture meeting Fatima, a single mom in Bam. She used to scavenge trash to feed her kids. Now she leads a weaving workshop, paying for their school and building a new home. She says, "I used to be looked down on. Now I'm an artisan, my family's pride." It's like the Women's Bean Project in America, where women overcome hardship through work. But here it's inspiring an entire nation. Many countries like Nigeria overlook women with 80% of recycling projects led by men missing huge potential. Burkina Faso did it differently, empowering women to transform society. Here's the lesson. When you empower women, you don't just change their lives, you change a nation's soul. So what happens when young people join this revolution? Ever seen someone beat the odds to do something big? Share that story on social media and tag us to spread the vibe. But right now, let's dive into how Burkina Faso's youth turned trash into opportunity. Coming right up. Because of that, in Burkina Faso, as women began weaving a future from waste, the youth, with 70% of the population under 30, became the engine of this revolution. They didn't wait for opportunities. They created them through innovations like the Green Faso app, turning trash collection into a modern industry, creating jobs and reviving dreams for an entire generation. From streets choked with garbage, young people built a future. Isn't that incredible? In Ouagadougou, the Green Faso app, created by a team of 25-year-olds, works like an Uber for trash, letting households request pickups via their phones. Government reports say it's created jobs for 200 collectors and cut youth unemployment by 15% in urban areas. Picture meeting Ama, a 25-year-old in Bam. Once jobless, he now leads a trash collection team with Green Faso, earning enough to buy a motorcycle and support his family. He says, "I used to think I was useless. Now I'm helping clean my city." Trade schools also teach green skills, from making plastic bricks to fixing recycling machines, opening doors for young people. It's like the Rubicon startup in America, using tech to manage waste. But here, Burkina's youth do it with limited resources. Many countries like Togo overlook young people, with 90% of recycling projects missing youth involvement, leading to failure. Burkina Faso did it differently, empowering the young to innovate. Here's the lesson. When you give youth a chance, they don't just change themselves, they change the world around them. So what happens when trash becomes a weapon against climate change? Ever seen a young person do something big? Share this video on social media to spread the inspiration. But right now, let's dive into how Burkina Faso used trash to save the planet. Coming right up. Because of that, in Burkina Faso, as young people turned trash into opportunity, the nation didn't stop at cleaning streets. It turned garbage piles into a weapon against climate change. With 45% of urban waste recycled or composted, they slashed 120,000 tons of CO2 yearly, transforming stinking landfills into compost for fertile fields, plastic bricks for homes, and clean fuel saving the planet with what was thrown away. From reeking trash heaps, they built a shield for the earth. Isn't that extraordinary? In Bam village, once choked by garbage and mosquitoes, fields now thrive with compost-fed crops. UN Environment Program reports say composting and recycling cut methane, a gas 25 times worse than CO2, for trapping heat. Picture meeting Kofi, a farmer in Bam who once lost crops to barren soil. With compost from local centers, he boosted rice yields by 30%, feeding 200 families. Plus, old tires become fuel through pyrolysis, and plastic bricks make roads stronger than concrete. It's like San Francisco's zero waste program. But here, Burkina does it with scarce resources. Many countries like Mali burn trash, openly spiking CO2 emissions by 10%. Due to lack of innovation. Burkina Faso did it differently, turning waste into climate solutions. Here's the lesson. When you turn trash into solutions, you don't just save the environment, you save the future. So what happens when the government joins this fight? Ever tried recycling something yourself? Try sorting your trash today and share your results in the comments. But right now, let's dive into how Burkina Faso's government made this green dream real. Coming right up. In Burkina Faso, as trash became a weapon against climate change, the government didn't stand on the sidelines, it jumped in to make the green dream real. With the 2014 Green Economy Strategy and the National Green Economy Fund, they backed co-ops, startups, and communities, turning garbage piles into resources, drawing in the World Bank and EU to build a sustainable future. From streets choked with trash, the government planted seeds for a greener nation. Isn't that incredible? In 2014, Burkina Faso's Environment Ministry launched the Green Economy Strategy, not just talk, but real action. The Green Economy Fund fueled recycling projects like $5 million from the World Bank to build a recycling center in Bobo Dioulasso, creating jobs for 300 people. Picture meeting Awa, a mom in Bam, now working at that center. She once feared her kids had no future, but thanks to the fund, she earns a steady income and sends them to school. Policies empowering local efforts helped co-ops and startups thrive, unlike places like Ghana, where 70% of recycling budgets go to cities, leaving rural areas behind. Reports from the Environment Ministry say this strategy boosted urban waste recycling to 45%. It's like EPA grants in America, but here Burkina focuses on small communities with limited resources. Many countries fail with top-down solutions ignoring their people. Burkina Faso did it differently, blending local ideas with global support. Here's the lesson. When governments back their people's ideas, green dreams don't just stay dreams, they become reality. So what happens when these dreams face tough challenges? Ever tried a green action like recycling or composting? Try one today and follow our channel for more ways to make a difference. But right now, let's dive into how Burkina Faso tackled hurdles to keep this green dream alive. Coming right up. In the heart of Burkina Faso, as the green dream began to bloom from piles of trash, the road wasn't all smooth. Doubt from communities' lack of funds and health risks threatened to derail everything. But with grit and creativity, the people turned hurdles into stepping stones, proving no challenge is too big when a nation pulls together. From streets riddled with danger, they forged victory. Isn't that incredible? When programs like Green Faso and the Recycle Fay co-op took off, not everyone was on board. UNEP reports Say 30% of waste pickers feared losing jobs to new tech, and 20% of locals worried recycling centers would pollute. Early funding shortages made projects shaky. But Burkina Faso didn't quit. They held community forums to build trust, trained 500 local technicians, and provided protective gear for workers. Picture meeting Fatima, a co-op member in BAM. She once feared recycling plastic would harm her health, but after forums she joined and now leads a weaving team, proudly saying, "I was scared once. Now I'm changing my village." It's like zero-waste startups in Seattle, stumbling, but pushing through with grit. Many countries like Senegal lost 60% of recycling projects by ignoring communities. Burkina Faso did it differently, putting people's trust and safety first. Here's the lesson. When you face challenges with community trust, every obstacle becomes a chance to shine. So what happens when this green dream reaches the world? Ever seen someone conquer a tough challenge to do something big? Share that story on social media with #GreenRevolution to spread the vibe. But right now, let's dive into how Burkina Faso took this model global, coming right up. As the light of Burkina Faso's green dream spread, the story of turning trash into treasure crossed borders, igniting inspiration worldwide. From Niger to Ghana, and hailed by the UN as one of Africa's top 5 climate innovators, Burkina Faso shows a decentralized, affordable, community-led model can change how the planet sees waste. From Sahel's trash heaps to global stages, they made the world take notice. Isn't that extraordinary? Burkina Faso's model doesn't rely on pricey tech, but on people's ingenuity. Niger launched 200 composting centers based on this approach, boosting yields for 1,000 farmers per ECOWAS reports. Picture meeting Ama, a young technician in Ouagadougou, once part of Green Faso. Now he trains groups in Niger to sort trash, proudly saying, "I'm not just cleaning my city, I'm helping all of Africa." The UN praised Burkina Faso as a top 5 African climate innovator at the Nairobi summit. It's like Seattle's zero-waste program in America, but here, Burkina does it with scarce resources. Many countries like Togo flopped with 80% of recycling projects by chasing unfit tech. Burkina Faso did it differently, using local ideas to spark global inspiration. Here's the lesson. Simple, community-driven solutions can change the world. So what happens when this dream scales up? Ever thought about greening your own community? Try starting a compost bin at home and share your journey on social media with #GreenRevolution. But right now, let's dive into how Burkina Faso pushes this green dream further, coming right up. As Burkina Faso's green flame spread worldwide, the dream of turning trash into treasure didn't stop at early wins. To achieve a fully circular economy, they faced big challenges, scaling up, formalizing the industry, and attracting investment to turn every discarded item from plastic to compost into a resource for the future, from small villages to the entire nation. From tiny trash heaps, they dreamed of a world without waste. Isn't that incredible? To scale up, Burkina Faso aims to recycle 70% of urban waste by 2030, up from 45% per economic reports. They need insurance for waste pickers and new tech to make complex products like household goods from recycled plastic. Picture meeting Kofi, a waste collector in BAM. He once worked without safety gear, but now trained and insured, he's confident building a future. He says, "I used to work in danger. Now I'm building dreams." It's like California's push for solar energy in America, but here, Burkina focuses on waste. Many countries like Mali stalled after early successes, with recycling projects fizzling out in 2 years. Burkina Faso did it differently, committing to long-term investment to erase the idea of waste. Here's the lesson. Big dreams need grit and commitment to grow, not just ideas. So what happens when this dream becomes a global call? Ever recycled something yourself? Try turning a plastic bottle into a planter and share it on social media with #trash2treasure. But right now, let's dive into how Burkina Faso made a waste-free future real. Coming right up. And so at last in Burkina Faso, where reeking trash piles once stood, green fields now thrive, markets burst with color, and a dream of a world without waste grows clearer than ever. With a vision for 2035 aiming to export $50 million in recycled products and erase the idea of trash, Burkina Faso didn't just change itself. It inspired the globe from the Sahel to every corner of the planet. From forgotten garbage heaps, they built a sustainable future. Isn't that extraordinary? Burkina Faso targets exporting $50 million in recycled goods like plastic handbags and building bricks by 2035, feeding millions through sustainable farming per economic reports. Picture meeting Awa, a mom in Bam, who once feared her kids would grow up surrounded by trash. Now she leads a co-op watching her children learn under solar lights, powered by recycling funds, proudly saying, "We turned trash into dreams." It's like America's push for clean energy, but here Burkina leads by redefining waste. Many countries like Ghana missed 30% of recycling opportunities by lacking long-term action. Burkina Faso did it differently, turning every discarded item into a resource for tomorrow. Here's the lesson. When you rethink waste, you redefine the future not just for one nation, but for the world. Ever thought you could change the world with small actions? Join the green movement by recycling something today and hit. Subscribe to catch more inspiring stories like this. Drop a comment and tell us where you'll start.